All right. Starting off with some green black. Got the goal is to play eight decks today, which sounds doable. That seems like reasonable until my opponent suspends the Lotus Bloom on one. I'm going to lead on the Bloodstained Mire here as opposed to the Treetop Village because I would like to fetch an Overgrown Tomb tapped. If they don't do anything, and I'd like to have the option to push their turn one play, except it's... Oh, no, not a Bogle. I guess you could maybe say I should hold the fetch land because I have Tireless Trackers and it enables Revolt later, so maybe that's a little loose and I should just lead on this. The only changes I made today from the list that I've been playing is that I swapped the 3rd Damping Sphere to the 4th Thoughtseize in the sideboard for this morning. I don't know if the 3rd Damping Sphere is the cut that I want to make, but I think I want a 4th Thoughtseize in my 75. You don't have any more lands. It's good for us. All right, well, we're going to push the crap out of this so that way we can make our Tarmogoyf bigger. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm playing this deck at the Open next weekend. In fact, it's a week away, so I need to find cards. Need to start sending messages to people and say, hey, who has black-green mid-range stuff that I can borrow? What if we just didn't do that? What if instead I killed it? Go. You know what? I think that was a mistake. I think I was supposed to. Don't think you'll get to it anyways today, but here's some for Mono Blue Troll. 10 out of 10. We'll add the bits to Mono Blue. Thank you for the bits. I appreciate it. I played the wrong creature land last turn. I definitely should have played the Treetop Village because I could have just smacked with the Treetop Village here. There's a deck list on your screen. If you click the deck list button, if you're on a mobile device, you can have !deck in chat and you'll get a deck list in front of you. It's a Phantasmal image. That's adorable. Well, I guess now I'm happy I didn't play the Treetop Village, right? Do I want to field them aggressively here? I think I just want to play this and pass. Our plan of drawing some spells at some point is not going very particularly well. Traditional logic says Screw generally beats Flood, so especially with this Aether Vial, things are not boding well for us. Morning, Python. Happy Friday. Happy Friday, folks. What's going on, Virus? Welcome. Welcome to a live one. Okay. Alright, that's a piece of candy. I like candy. I like candy. Their article will be live. I believe it goes live in like an hour. Is it up now? I can never remember if they publish at 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. Central. Looks like they go up in about an hour. There's a preview in the subs Discord from earlier this week, but they'll go up on Gathering Magic in a little while. My article going up today will be talking about that, Aaron. I don't think that type of deck's really a concern. I think Dredge isn't particularly popular, and I think a mix of Kalitas and Scavenging Ooze make that matchup okay anyways. I think Leyline of the Void's a really, really narrow card. I think if you wanted to play Dedicated Graveyard Hate because you're specifically worried about it in this deck, I would play Surgical Extraction or Nihil Spellbomb. Them drawing the basic planes is actually pretty good for us because it means we're going to use this Field of Ruin as a Wasteland here in a second. It's actually like better than Wasteland, right? Because it's going to get to give us a land but not give them a land. It's like Wasteland you but better, yep. So these things will pump each other up, which is whatever. Like my Tireless Tracker is going to get pretty big pretty quickly. If they don't get too aggressive here too quickly, we're going to be able to run away with this game most likely. G. This is for a red-black Hollow One list with grafted war gear that I sent you on Twitter last night. Sounds good. Thank you for that. Can you do me a favor and ping me on Twitter again, reminding me that you sent bits in, so that way I remember to add it at the end of the stream? Please and thank you. I think the deck is a very reasonable, powerful, consistent linear deck. Alright, Tasigur is actually a decent pickup here. Do I want to play another tracker? I could actually play Tracker and play Tasigur, right? And actually, delving the entire yard's pretty good right now because it's going to make these Tarmogoyfs really tiny. I might sneak some Hearthstone in at the very end, but I'm planning to do 12 hours of Magic, so we'll see how I'm feeling at the very end of the stream. It's easier to do a little bit of Hearthstone at the end of the stream too, because it's just like a lighter game, basically. Go. This does give my opponent a chance to cycle the Horizon Canopy potentially, but I still think this is good. If they have double humans this turn, we could be in trouble. We definitely need to find like another fatal push. Yeah, if they have two humans here, we could be in a little bit of trouble because it's going to let them push this Thalia's Lieutenant. Oh, lordy. Is that a second Mantis Rider? We have 2 copies of Maelstrom Pulse in our deck. They're both looking really good. I haven't played against Jund with this deck. Jund's not particularly popular. People quickly realized that Bloodbraid was kind of clunky. Yep, yeah, I'm planning to do that one last today, JMP. So probably 7-ish we'll start it. If they only attack with these, that kind of makes sense. If they attack with this too, I think I'm going to double like this. I think I'm okay with this. They can trade for my Tasigur or my Goyf here. So we get a couple of draws at a pulse or pushes or stuff like that. Hey, Stephen Douglas Weeks, thank you very much for the Twitch Prime support. I do appreciate that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Unfortunately, they have enough chump blockers that we're really not going to be able to pivot here into an aggressive role, which kind of sucks. It's an Abrupt Decay. That's a good pickup. So I can't Field of Rune them. So I guess I'm going to start by cracking this. Hey, JMP, thanks for the bits, bud. I'll crack this and see what we get. Another Tarmogoyf. All right, so I'm going to play this out for clues. Do I want to smash with Tireless Trackers here? Probably not. I really don't think I want to trade the 6/5 Tireless Tracker for Thalia's Lieutenant and a Tarmogoyf here, so I think I'm just going to pass. No, Slivers is going to be second today. I assume they're cycling this and say these Horizon Canopies. Yep. We'll see. The double Mantis Rider turn here might be just aggressive enough that we're not going to be able to... And we're not going to be able to get out from under this. Especially if they have Kessig Malcontents in their deck. We're almost certainly dead. I don't know. I guess like these trackers are going to be pretty huge pretty quickly. Them playing the unclaimed territory there is actually pretty good for us because it gives us a target for Field of Rune to get more clues. There's a fourth Phantasmal Image. Kite Sail Freebooter. I don't really care about that one. I get to just go ahead and Abrupt Decay this Dorko. And then I have nothing. I have 1 card left. Reflector Mage. God, for fuck's sake. That's really frustrating. God, their draw's been good. This deck is so good when it draws well. Hey, Shannon. Thanks for the 18-month free subscription. I appreciate that. Welcome back. All right, 3 shots at a Maelstrom Pulse. Magic's fun sometimes. Definitely a much lower variance game than Hearthstone. the more Hearthstone I play, the more salty I become towards just like random variants like this in Magic. Just like 3 lands and 15 cards versus, you know, infinite lands and infinite cards. It's like whenever I, especially because like you constantly hear Magic players like shit on Hearthstone for being high variance. It's like, I'm not sure if you've actually played that game versus the one that you play. Because one of these things is high variance. One of these things is high variance. All right, what are we doing? I think I'm just gonna trip some of these Inquisitions. I think I like Inquisition better than Liliana in this matchup. Or Liliana better than Inquisition in this matchup. Humans is the best deck in the format by a lot. I don't think it genuinely has bad matchups, which is one of the reasons why it's the best deck in the format. And like when they draw like they did there, where they had, you know, 3 lands and 15 cards, and they had, you know, double Mantis Rider when they needed it, they're gonna allow them to close the game before you have time to draw. Variance is definitely a feature. I agree with that. So Tasigur's like okay in this matchup, but the fact that they have Reflector Mage makes it pretty rancid. In fact, Reflector Mage kind of makes me not want the second Kalitas. Let's give this a try. I think this matchup's okay for us on average. Really needed like a Scavenging Ooze or just a touch more spot removal that game to really be in it. That seems pretty good. I'm sure we'll never draw a 3rd land and die, but, you know, it's definitely a keep. I don't think that's true, Justin. I've played that matchup a good bit, and I don't think Blue-Red Prison is that good against humans. I disagree with that assessment. I think humans gets under Blue-Red Prison a big deal. Sure, I get that. A lot of people have pointed out that like Hearthstone used to have worse variance than it currently has, but it doesn't have it now. So like, don't shit on it for like things it did in the past, right? Like it's corrected itself, right? For the record, I think there are plenty of things that have close to a reasonable matchup against humans. I don't think there are things that have good matchups against humans. That's what I said. Someone asked, what is a good matchup against humans? I think things like Jeskai and even things like this have fine matchups against humans just because they have removal and they have a clock, but I don't think they have like actively good matchups against humans, which is why humans is one of the best deck in the format. That was a good draw. Tron does not have a good humans matchup. Maybe occasionally when you're on the play and have your nut draw, but Engineered Explosives might be a little bit clunky this game. Yeah, exactly, McNux. That's a great comparison. Yeah, exactly. And like humans bad matchups are close to a coin flip, and it also has matchups that are much better than that. I think I'm just gonna bin this explosives here the way my hand is lined up. I'm gonna go ahead and kill this, play this tap, make this a 3/3 and crack them. Like I said, we ran a little bit bad in that first game, and that's okay. Like that's part of Magic, right? Like if you can't lose games like that where you basically didn't get to do anything, you genuinely shouldn't play Magic, because there's a lot of games in Magic that you're going to lose to the resource variance that's built into Magic. I think both Hearthstone and Magic have plenty of variants built into them. I think a lot of the variants Magic has is harder to control, though, in my experience. A lot of the variants producing cards in Hearthstone give you avenues to play around the variants that they create, at least in their current format. That's the way it works. I played a lot of Odd Rogue. That deck's really sweet. We played a little bit of Quest Rogue last night too. It was kind of great. So this Scavenging Ooze can go all the way up to a 3/3. Yep, you can find Dark Confidants and No Tassigurs on my YouTube channel, and if you read my article on Gathering Magic today, you will hear me talk about why I don't like them. I assume they're gonna sack this one. I think rather than going all in on this Scavenging Ooze, I'm gonna go ahead and fire up this Hissing Quagmire, just because like if they rip a Reflector Mage, I don't want to lose everything. So I think like I'm gonna get this to like a 4/4 and just like leave that there, because that's like big enough. Like attacking for 6 every turn is pretty good. Tempo Mage and Odd Rogue are good cards to get started with in Hearthstone right now. I think missing Hollowed One's a big deal, Knight of St. Traft. In fact, like, I've considered playing just 2... If Meddling Mage in Humans wasn't a thing, I would probably play 2 Damnations just so you could actually clear the board. You don't need Ravager with Tireless Tracker, Justin. I think I'm happy with how I boarded here. These extra Inquisitions might actually be okay on the draw just because they help generate tempo. I think Engineered Explosives, like, actually is kind of clunky here. I'm gonna board this out. I'm gonna trim a Liliana the Veil in the draw too, just like leave some discard in. It feels a little bit bad to draw, but we've got like Collective Brutality and Liliana to like convert them into cards later. So I think on the draw, I like the tempo of having 4 of these in my deck. What's going on, Brick and Sky? Yeah, Odd Rogue is part of what I use to climb to rank 5 where I'm at right now, and then I haven't just like felt the need to grind more. So Liliana basically reads kill your creature, gain some life, and after you sweep their board, just having edict effects is generally pretty good. I think this hand is too slow on the draw. I like don't have any removal spells. My creatures are kind of small. Yeah, I'm gonna throw this back. I think I have 1 mana discard and I have a bunch of removal spells to mulligan too, so this seems pretty good. Would love to put that on top. So we get to curve discard spell into Dismember for 2 health into Liliana. So that sounds great. Huh. That's actually really annoying, huh? Do not want to get Inquisition back. Let's get that one out of here. I boarded out Tasigur in this matchup because our opponent has Reflector Mage, and the amount of tempo you lose from getting your Tasigur Reflector Mage feels really bad. I assume we're going to lose Last Hope here, so they encourage me to use the Dismember on this. Interesting. Okay, they just want to break up my curve. That makes sense too. Removal spell. That's... I should have been more specific, chat. I wanted a removal spell I could cast this turn. Having to take this turn off feels pretty bad. Although I guess, like, this is going to let me clean up whatever powerful threat they put into play this turn. They draw a couple of lands here, we'll be in a great spot. If they draw just 1 threat, we'll be okay. That's obligated to take Maelstrom Pulse at least, right? And actually, like, that's pretty good for us, because now I'm going to have to, like, play Last Hope and eat this. Because they can't just leave us Maelstrom Pulse, because Maelstrom Pulse will kill both of these. They have Dismember plus 1 card. We're taking 2 down to 17. We're going to 16. We'll play this, kill this, and then they probably have to start pressuring the Liliana the Last Hope. If you're playing a fast deck in 12 hours, you can almost certainly clear a good deal. Yeah, I'm just gonna play her and take this Kitesail Freebooter off the table. Like, buys one of my removal spells back and, like, puts a high loyalty Planeswalker out here. The only thing they have that really punishes this is if they have Mantis Rider. And if they have Mantis Rider, they're serving 4 into the Liliana, and then I get to pulse the Rider, and I'm still at 17. I have, like, plenty of tools for winning this game. And like I said, I don't think this matchup is bad. It's just the games you lose to Flooding Out Magic feel terrible. Which is just, you know, it's a feature of the game. It's definitely by design. That's pretty good. If they have another one of these, I could be in trouble. They don't have another play here. They're pretty dead. Sweet. All right, so she kills this. And then... I'm just gonna Maelstrom Pulse this, right? Yeah, I think I want to pulse this so that way I keep my Liliana alive, and then I play the Treetop Village tapped. You're playing Tempo Mage? Yeah, Tempo Mage you could probably do some good work if you're playing well. And they have a Dismember in their hand, but I have a Collective Brutality to clear that out before we play a threat. Although Liliana does die to Hierarch. Yeah, I don't think it matters. I think they know we have this and this Dismember, and they know they probably can't win the game. Or the draw card button's just a suggestion. There is an Amulet video on YouTube. You can check that out. All the stuff gets archived there. Drawing Mana Wyrm is a good way to win lots of games very quickly with Tempo Mage. You are not wrong. Mana Wyrm is real good. Real good. Speaking of real good, oh boy, this hand. This hand is real good. I exclusively play Friendly League, Johnny Redeem. As someone who is a generally risk-averse individual, I have no desire to gamble by playing a more expensive league, because that's all you're doing by playing more expensive leagues is gambling. I think I'm just taking Gideon, right? I have this Scavenging Ooze to make their logic not worse. So I think I'm going to play a turn behind here, because I get to go, like, tapped land into Scavenging Ooze, tapped land into Tracker Fetch Land, which seems pretty good. That was just like the perfect draw, because now they can logic not me. I guess that's fine though, right? I think that's fine. Do I want to jam the Collective Brutality here, actually? I feel like I do, actually. In case they don't logic not my Scavenging Ooze. No, they couldn't guaranteed not me, Rogue. They didn't have the second blue source. Their hand on turn 1 was Snapcaster, Plains, Field, Logic Not. So they had to draw blue source. So I think this risk to reward is fine. This is definitely a matchup where I'm happy I have a 4th Thoughtseize on my board. That's a tilt. That's so weird that it doesn't load on your thing. So now we're hoping they didn't draw exactly another counterspell. They might field me in response here, because if they field me while this is in play, they'll give me a clue. Yeah, Spell Hunter, me too, Brecken Sky. I've been trying all of the different Hunter variations because Rexar is my favorite card in their format right now, and they're all just kind of mediocre. All right, so I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna crack this for a... I'm actually gonna get an Overgrown Tomb untapped here because I want to leave basics in my deck since our Path to Exile deck. And I'm going to go ahead and jam the Scavenging Ooze here. It makes me feel a little bit bad if they tap out for Supreme Verdict, but if they tap out for Supreme Verdict next turn, I also just get to, like, jam this Liliana the Veil down their throat, which is pretty reasonable. And, like, if they don't have Supreme Verdict or a Path to Exile, like, this Scavenging Ooze checks their Snapcaster Mages nicely, of which we know they have two. No, it's very valuable to leave basic lands in your deck against a deck like what the opponent's playing. Having basic lands in our deck is very, very valuable in a matchup like this. Especially when we're playing our own Field of Runes as well. We just, like, really want to make sure that we have a large number of basics. Oh, you meant off the Field of Rune. Maybe? That's annoying. Draw a card, see what we get here. That's pretty good. We'll use that next turn. I'm gonna bin this Verdant Catacombs here, obviously. We know they have Snapcaster Plains in hand. No, I'm intentionally playing an old version of the Rock deck. You know, sometimes I don't know how to answer questions like that. This exposes me to that. Yeah, they have a chance to snap Path to Ooze. Yeah, that's true. I wasn't thinking about that. Yeah, this line was bad. I shouldn't have cracked the clue because of this line. That was a good draw. Gideon and another Snapcaster. Well, we'll just take big kids here since I've got another Scavenging Ooze. I mean, all Magic is gambling. All Magic Online is gambling. Like, you're paying an entry fee to gamble, essentially. It did matter. I could have had another Scavenging Ooze in play. That's relevant for sure. We're definitely running good, but, like, saying it didn't matter, I think is disingenuous. Are you sure you have notifications enabled, Master? Plenty of people tell me they get notifications for the channel. You want to make sure just following the channel doesn't mean you've signed up for notifications. There's a different checkbox you have to check on Twitch to get notifications. I think I'm okay with that. I think I'm just letting that happen. My plan is to Field of Rune plus Crack Clue this turn, I think. I think you just don't gain much from the blue, from the addition of blue cards to the deck is what it comes down to. I only feel like Magic is gambling when I lose. That's funny. Yeah, I was gonna make this a 3-3. Now that they played a second, so I said I was gonna use the field plus use the plus Crack the Clue this turn. The fact that my opponent drew a second Colonnade changes the timing on when I want to use this Field of Rune, because now I'd much rather use the Field of Rune the turn they activate a Colonnade, since I'm not gonna be able to take them off of their only Colonnade. Hey, Jonas Bumpus with the 2-month resubscription. Thank you very much and welcome back. I appreciate the continued support. Thank you, thank you, thank you for that. I'm going to leave up one forest here just in case they draw their last Snapcaster Mage. It's unfortunate I can't destroy my own land. If I could, I would. Am I just gonna ult Liliana here? Is that too aggressive? No, actually, it's almost lethal, right? So I think I'm gonna ult Liliana here, and I'm gonna split it. Oh, we're definitely ulting Liliana now. I think I was gonna alter even before I drew that, and I'm gonna split like Spreading Seas, Azcanta, Colonnades versus everything else. Actually, I could split it so I get back my Treetop Village. Yeah, I'm gonna split it like this so I guaranteed get back a creature land. Yeah, I'm gonna do this. Almost to that, baby. Love the content coming. If you are having problems with your notifications, be sure to make sure you're in the subs Discord. I've been trying to post in the subs Discord every morning when I go live. Mike the Knight, 8-month resubscription. Almost to that, baby. Love the content. Keep it coming. Thanks for the continued support. 2/3 of a year. I appreciate that. That's a long time. There aren't any creatures in bins, right? Nope. Goodbye, wife. I love you. Got him. Playing Hearthstone with Deathly Constructed to say I request a timeout for the beam. Got you, Zach. I got you. No, you don't side out. Liliana's very good in this matchup. Super, super reasonable. She's a card that they basically have to answer. All right, so how am I boarding here? I definitely want the Thoughtseize and Inquisitions. I want the Fulminator Mage to pressure their mana. Hey, Gameline. Thank you very much for the Twitch Prime support. I do appreciate that. There's a lot of excellent people streaming on Twitch right now, so thanks for supporting my content this month with that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm playing this deck as opposed to the Jeskai deck because I want a deck that has a nut draw. I want a deck that can actually kill people. I want to play a discard spell on 1, play a Tarmogoyf on 2, and beat them to death. Gamma Line, thank you for the correction. I appreciate it. All right, so I think I want all 6 of these because the opponent's deck only has Spreading Seas and stuff, but they likely have Detention Sphere and Rest in Peace post board, and Rest in Peace is particularly annoying for us to deal with. Maybe trimming some amount of Collective Brutality is fine, just because I'm rarely escalating it. I think trimming one of these is probably fine. It also doesn't hit their Planeswalkers. Honestly, maybe it's just 2 of these. Although it does take Cryptic Command. Trimming a Tarmogoyf seems fine. It's like probably our least valuable threat. Yeah, they could also have Rune Halo. Yeah. And this card, Golgari Charm, also counters Supreme Verdict. So counters Supreme Verdict. Saves your board at least. Alright, let's do it. I think it hurts the mana too much. The math says I want 19-ish, 18 to 19 black sources, and I'm already kind of low on that. Hey, Jay Green with the 3-month resubscription, a quarter of a year. Welcome back. Thanks for the continued support, bud. I appreciate it. Yes, Golgari Charm does not stop actual factual Wrath of God. That much is true. This is the list that I'm going to be playing at the Open next month, or something close, or next weekend, something close to it. Assuming I can find the cards. I think I can find the cards. I need to start sending messages now that I know I want to play this. Second one of those is pretty good. I'm going to fetch a basic swamp here. I think fetching 1 basic's probably fine. Again, I mentioned you generally want to be a little bit conservative with putting too many basics into play against the Path Field deck, but Definitely want to Thoughtseize them here. Pretty happy to just take their Spreading Seas. This does mean that they could Logic Knot something, but I'm probably just going to like Collective Brutality before that happens. No, I think Last Hope is fine in this matchup. Last Hope has an ultimate that demands they answer it, and she has a Last Hope that demands they answer it, and she rebuys Tireless Tracker. But I guess you could also say they don't actually kill Tracker that often, so maybe that's not true. Man, maybe Last Hope isn't good enough in this matchup. I could see that being the case. Did you draw... Gideon would be pretty scary here. Yep. It's a pretty quick lock. Prevents us from playing Liliana out. We know they have at least a Logic Knot. Wrath and Logic Knot. Yep. I'll take the Logic Knot for now. Yeah, Weslamos. Tracker's just so nuts. It's so good at everything you want a card to be doing. You draw another Planeswalker. Alright, that's probably not going to be beatable. You can't Thoughtseize the top of their deck, unfortunately. We need to draw like Maelstrom Pulse like right now. Did they really just Fate Steal me while I have a fetch land in play? Seems a little loose. I really wish I could look and see what was on top of my deck. In paper, when your opponent Fate Steals you and you crack a fetch, you can look and see what was on top of your deck. And here, obviously, we can't do that, which really sucks. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and concede. I don't think we can play through these double Planeswalkers. I'm gonna go ahead and move on. Move on with my life. On the play, I'm gonna put in another Goyf here, and I'm gonna trim this Last Hope. Yeah, Meat Hooks is gonna be second today. Pillar of Flame. It's not an instant, though. This ain't good enough. It depends on your deck. It depends on what the graveyard hate is. Like, Rest in Peace is probably fine, but, like, Surgical Extraction is bad, obviously. I'm gonna mulligan this. Seems much better. Yeah, MTGO always orders your library when you fetch. Like, look, when I fetch here, it's gonna have it sorted out. They've got it stacks them, so it makes the cards easier to find. A lot of those cards are pretty good. This hand, unfortunately, doesn't really do well against the Spreading Seas currently. Probably fielding them on 3. Tron is going to be the last modern deck today, I believe. Well, it depends on the tempo of the leagues. Like how long the leagues go will definitely dictate whether or not we're how many decks we get to, obviously. They put 2 cards on the bottom. Sounds good. That's a forest. I think I still just want to field them this turn. Or start by attacking. Fielding them puts an extra card in my discard pile too. They're auto-passing, which makes sense. No, as far as I'm aware, the what's it called is still broken. As far as I'm aware, it is still broken. They have a Supreme Verdict in their hand too here. So like, do I even want to play this Tasigur out? I think I do. I think I want to make them pull the trigger on this. We don't know that they guaranteed have the land either. There's a non-zero chance we just get Wrath and die here, though. I don't know why I put things in the stream title. People are really lazy about reading it. If you type !donation queue in chat, you'll be able to see the list of decks we're planning to play today. I know many other content producers don't do that for you, but I do. I guess pulsing the Gideon's okay there. I don't know. Like, if they draw a Jace, like, the Jace just takes over the game. But now I'm getting punished because I drew the discard spell that could have cleared the Supreme Verdict. This Bricks, I'm going to feel real terrible. Definitely got punished for how I sequenced here. All right, yeah, look. So, like, now I'm just, like, never going to beat this Jace the Mind Sculptor. I guess I have this. This was a Treetop Village. Would be much better. Someone mentioned earlier about Treetop Village versus Hissing Quagmire, and like, I agree. Treetop Village is much better than Hissing Quagmire when it comes to like actually attacking. But in terms of like fixing your mana, it's much worse. I mean, these are the types of matchups where people were worried Jace was gonna like oppress and like create this like power vacuum in Modern, but like these types of decks aren't the norm in Modern, right? Like the deck that I'm playing is tier 2, the deck the opponent's playing is tier 2 or tier 3 even, like, yeah, like, and then honestly, maybe I should have mentioned that in the thing that I wrote about, like, I'm just gonna concede, we're just not beating this Jace into this Gideon. This game's not gonna end for like 12 more turns, but it's over. It's over. All right. Hopefully the next couple go a little bit better than that. Thanks for hanging out this morning. Welcome, folks. Happy Friday. Happy weekend to folks. My name is Jeff Hoagland. I'm a full-time streamer and content producer here on Twitch. And if you're enjoying my stuff, please consider subscribing to my channel. My subscribers are the reason I'm able to do this full-time like I do. You can also support my stuff by supporting my sponsors. mtgotraders.com. Love to buy and sell some Magic Online cards with you. And if you use code Hoagland PayPal at checkout with them, you'll save 8% on your singles orders there. CoolStuffInc.com buys and sells a lot of cool stuff, including TCG singles. Using promo code Jeff5, you can save 5% on Magic, Pokemon, and Yu-Gi-Oh cards with them. And Mac Weldon, they provide premium men's clothing. You can save 20% on your first order at bit.ly/Hulu Clothes with Jeff Hoagland. They do premium casual wear, shorts, t-shirts, polos, underwear, all sorts of stuff like that. You have a number of their shirts and their great stuff. At any rate, we're 1-1 in this league with green-black mid-range. We're heading on into the third match here. You think Blue-White Control is better positioned than Jeskai Control? No. I think Blue-White Control is a very bad deck in Modern, and people play it because they like dirtling. And that's okay. You should play decks because you enjoy playing them. Hey, T-Brow77, thank you very much for the Twitch Prime support. In fact, if you want to support my content, you don't want it to cost you anything. If you're one of the people out there that has Amazon Prime like T-Brow there, that gets you Twitch Prime included for free, and that lets you subscribe to a content creator of your choice every single month. So the reason why I think Blue-White Control is much worse than Jeskai Control is that Jeskai Control being able to pivot into an aggressive role with its removal spells turning into reach is very, very valuable in a format like Modern. Just look at the numbers. Jeskai Control is not tier 1. Just look at the numbers. Look at the number of deck results it's put up. And like Ginger Cakes with the 10-month resubscription, thank you very much. I do appreciate it. Welcome back. I think arguing or talking about like which decks are tier 1 and which one aren't is pretty trivial and mostly meaningless, just because like Wizards of the Coast intentionally hides data with regards to Magic formats so people can't actually objectively know what's tier 1 and what's not. Well, our opponent has kept a very bad hand. I was a little bit worried that our hand was going to be slow when we started here, but it's looking like their hand's kind of medium. I'm actually going to escalate this to drain my opponent here because I'm probably just not going to have time to cast all these spells this game. Correct. That is exactly correct. With how much Modern and Magic decks cost, you shouldn't buy decks you don't enjoy playing. Or a lot of the people, and that's the thing, like when I say, you know, a deck like Blue Eye Control is tier 3, like how much worse is it than a deck like Jeskai or Humans? Like in my opinion, it's at least marginally worse, but like, is it so much worse that you're not going to win games with it? Almost certainly not. Like the reason why Modern is the most popular competitive format in Magic is because the tier 2 and tier 3 decks in it are still reasonably competitive. And like what you have to realize too is that the data that you're looking at on MTG Goldfish, that isn't objective data. The data on MTG Goldfish is skewed by the intentionally incomplete results that Wizards of the Coast posts with regards to Magic Online. Johnny redeemed half a year, and it seems like only yesterday. As a Presbyterian pastor, Jeff, you would make a great Presbyterian. I'm gonna take that as a compliment. I'm not too familiar with that religion. At any rate, I appreciate the support. Half a year, welcome back. Welcome back. Would Temporal Mastery work in Miracles? It has great synergy with Planeswalkers and Ancestral Vision. Temporal Mastery has the opposite of synergy with Ancestral Visions. It has non-synergy with Ancestral Visions. Miracle cards are very bad with Ancestral Visions. I'm gonna go ahead and cut these Thoughtseizes. Liliana the Veil's pretty bad in this matchup too. Is this... I guess Collective Brutality is a little bit slow. I'm bringing in slightly more efficient removal. Is it nuts to trim a Tireless Tracker here? Is Odd Paladin even good? I can't tell if you're making a joke or asking a question. I can't tell if you're making a joke or asking a question. They aren't 100% transparent with data, because if they were transparent with data, it would be very easy for people to point out trends when things are bad. Whereas when they hide the data, we can only point out things when they think they are bad. And there's always some amount of people that are willing to make arguments and defend Wizards of the Coast and whatever game company they're playing, regardless of what things might imply. So without having data be objective, you just end up with people flinging shit at each other instead of like having numbers to say, well, no, we can show that this is just bad. When you can't actually show that it's bad, it makes it hard to show when a mistake has been made. And Wizards of the Coast doesn't seem like they're very good at saying, no, we made a mistake, we're going to fix it, but we messed up, and now we're going to try and fix it. I don't think Fulminator Mage is worth bringing in for the creature lands. I think it's a little bit narrow. Yeah, trimming Tracker was probably the play. Like, if this hand had Collective Brutality instead of a Tracker, it'd probably be keepable. This hand's okay. Like, not amazing, but fine. If they have a 2-drop on 1, we could be in trouble, but they mulligan, so hopefully they don't. Ding. And like, yeah, and what Zoe's all said there, it isn't that Wizards of the Coast doesn't have the data, because they randomly reference the data that they have that they don't share all the time when they reference ban and restricted stuff. They're like, well, we have the data and the data showed X, and it's just like, well, guess we just have to trust you. It's your, well, that's a good pair. It's a good pair. That being said, Damnation's pretty good against Ravager. Thanks for the timeout. I just climbed 5 ranks. God bless. God bless. Yeah, exactly. Let them control the narrative. What they do is not unique to them. I'm not surprised that they do that, but that is what they do. Do I want to just windmill this Tarmogoyf here? I kind of want to just play the Tarmogoyf out as a brick wall. Because, like, if I miss a land drop towards this Damnation, I'm going to really wish I played the Tarmogoyf. And, like, if I do hit the Damnation on curve, I probably have enough resources left over that I don't need the Tarmogoyf to win the game. This keeps Memnite and Ravager at bay, basically. It's a Cranial Plating. Aether Grid. That's pretty good. Dang. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and play this out. I'm gonna go ahead and pass the turn. I don't know, Tracker kills them much faster, which is nice. You do actually need to kill your opponent. It will make Ooze better post sweeper too, that's true. That's true, I definitely hadn't considered that, but it's certainly the truth. The Field of Ruin, and this is another matchup where just like Field of Ruin is quite excellent, right? Like I have these Field of Ruins to keep their creature lands at bay. I am not going to attack because I don't think the 4 points of damage matters. If they spell pierce this, I don't want my Tarmogoyf tapped. So I'm aware that I could potentially sneak in 4 points of damage here, but I don't think it's worth the downside of getting spell pierce and then taking more damage on the backswing next turn. 4 tracker is real good, to say the least. To say the least. Ooh, my Field of Rune's been upgraded to a Wasteland, chat. The Field of Rune will generate a clue for me if I crack it while I have Tireless Tracker in play. Because this card's the Nutter Butters. And like, taking 1 poison before that happens, like, really doesn't matter. What do you think about Amulet Titan? I think it is a very reasonable tier 2 combo deck. I think it has a good game plan and executes it consistently. I think it's a really interesting deck to play because it has a lot of neat lines in it. Hey, Coco Play, thank you very much for the tier 1 sub. I really appreciate that. As always, subscriptions are the best way you can support what I do here. So thank you, and welcome. Oh yeah, that's true too. That's true too. They could definitely just like counter our Field of Ruin activation and put us behind a land. I actually didn't think about that, Rogue. I was focused on getting a clue from my tracker, but that is very true. It makes it just strictly correct to not do so. Because you could maybe argue I don't need the value from my tracker, but like losing our land there would have been really bad. Stand up for a little bit. I was sitting down because I was eating breakfast when I came down to my desk this morning. Enjoy the ride, chat. Oh, that was a good draw too. Actually, yeah, let's do that. It's possible I should leave this other Field of Ruin up here. Just so... Wow, they have 2 basic lands. That's wild. I'm leaving up this 1 land just in case something crazy happens with the cranial plating next turn. I want to dismember this Blink Moth. There's a pretty good chance I'm just going to use it to activate the Scavenging Ooze anyways, but I think it's fine. Sure. I guess this kills me eventually, right? This does kill me eventually. Yeah, this is actually better than Karn on this board state. They're pretty deep in the tank here. We're gonna hit them for a lot of damage next turn. Honestly, the fact that I missed that point last turn by holding up this Dismember could come back to bite us. Golgari Charm's a pretty good draw. I definitely have 2 of those in my deck right now. Ha! This actually doesn't make mana right now. That's great. How close are they to dead? They're actually pretty close to dead, right? I can't get +6 this turn quite, but I'm pretty close. So I can crack... Actually, if I eat this, it makes the Tarmogoyf smaller, but there's two creatures It makes this a 7. I can crack a Clue, which makes this 11. And then I have a Drain. I think I'd rather just crack this. And then like go Goyf plus eat something with Scavenging Ooze. I don't think I need to hold up anything at this point. I just want to get in the most amount of damage. I think I should have, I made a mistake and I should have just gotten into max damage last turn too. So I have 3 lethal threats now. After I hit them for 10 here. Yeah, if you type !! donation Q in chat, you can get a link. You can get a link. So, Mr. Death Kills for 2,000 bits is the equivalent of $20. So, if for a non-subscriber, it is $20 to put a deck in the queue. If you read the thing, if you're a subscriber, it's $10 to put a deck in the queue, and every 100 bits or $1 you donate past that that $10 gets you an extra point. Could I have escalated brutality and eaten the Goyf? Maybe that was lethal. I might have missed lethal. That would have been, I could have gone this, and that would have put them to 2. Yeah, I think you're right. Was that lethal? I think that was lethal. Well, I would have been down a counter on here, right? I would have been up 3 here. No, yeah, I think you're right, actually, that was lethal. It would have put 2 more things in the bin. So this would be an 8. And this would have been, no, this would have been an 8, right? Because there would have been this plus 1 more. So this would have been 8 plus 3 is 11. No, it would have only been 13 still, because I wouldn't have been able to crack a thing for Tireless Tracker. Yes, you are welcome to sub to make up for your misreading. That is definitely fine. But that's a good line to think of, right? Like that wasn't a line that I had thought about to consider. Yeah. If we would have had max damage on the previous turn, we definitely that would have allowed us to be lethal. 10 out of 10. Yeah, and I think I misassessed like what the board state was the previous turn and like what I should have been playing around. Hey, Mr. Death Kills, thank you. Happy to. I'll bump that up right now so I don't forget. Whoop. Thank you for the support. I appreciate it. Yeah, so let's pop it in. We're 2-1. We lost to blue-white control, which I don't really know if I really want to make changes to be better against blue-white control or not. I think the matchup's probably okay generically. The way their draw lined up against our hand was pretty good. I think I probably need to sit down and think about how I really want to sideboard against blue-white control, because the way my cards were lining up on my ins and outs, I was kind of fumbling. I'm thinking maybe Collective Brutality isn't good enough in that matchup. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, you should subscribe to any channel because you enjoy the content and you enjoy the stuff. You enjoy the stuff that they're making, but I do try and give the people that support me a little bit of a bonus. And like, basically this is just like, it's viewer driven content, right? Like the content that we play on this stream directly comes in the priority of the people that help let me do this, essentially. So, you know, y'all are basically my bosses. Y'all are the ones that dictate y'all are the ones that let me be here, so I figure it's only fair to let the people that help me be here dictate what we play, at least, you know, a good portion of the time. Occasionally we play decks that I want to play like this one, but I like playing lots of different things. I thought people subbed for the rants. That's fair. That's fair. This is... We're 10 out of 10 just like taking these Mantis Riders, right? But only the rich people, just like in real life. Disc Jockey's called. Thank you very much for the tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Thank you for the support. Thanks for helping me do what I do here. I thought people subbed for the memes. Alright, so there's the canopy. Wonder if we're gonna see them just play the lieutenant out here. That's a little annoying. I guess it's not the worst. We really need to draw some removal and some lands now. The biggest problem... Hey, Rapner. Thanks for the 12-month resubscription. I appreciate that. Yeah, the 12 months is the knighting. Enjoy your sword. Wield it. Wield its power wisely. Hey, thank you, Terran Terror. That's a name I've seen before. Thank you for subbing in. Thanks for the Twitch Prime. I appreciate it. Did I already choose which basics I'm gonna play? Yeah, when I play like an actually respectable deck like this one, that's not just like straight meme garbage. I have a box of unhinged lands that I have from forever ago that I like to play with. If I put some democracy on a deck today, does that mean it gets played sooner? The deck lists for today are already set in stone, excluding $100 donations that allow me, that encourage me to rearrange my schedule. So, also keep in mind that you'll notice I've got a whole bunch of asterisks there in the queue. Decks that are currently have Leyline of Sanctity in them can't be played because Magic Online... I think we're dying here. We beat humans earlier in this league. Yeah, we are just super dead. We're just not beating this pressure, followed up by Restoration Angels while missing our third land drop. Meme garbage, hey now. Look, the truth isn't always pretty, chat, is what I'm saying. I'm a realist. I understand that a lot of what we play is meme garbage, but that's okay. It's fun meme garbage. I think I like this sideboard plan. It's pretty clean. It's pretty clean. 3 Thoughtseize, 2 Tasigur out. Oh, I need my Damnation. Never mind. I need to cut one more thing. I was like, this was so easy. It's 1 Liliana, I think. Yeah. So these 6 out. 2 Sweepers, a Kalitas, extra spot removal in. The short answer is that when I start a stream, the decks that I'm playing on that stream are set in stone for the day, excluding decks that get bumped up over $100 in bonuses. So they're playing Restoration Angel because 3-power flying creatures are very good, is the TLDR. Kalitas is just a card that buffers our health total. Also, basically any game we get to play spot removal while Kalitas is in play, they're not coming back from. So Kalitas just like turning our removal spells into like 2-for-1s is very good. I know bits are better than a donation, so here you go. Thanks for the great content, Jeff. Grishelbrand is a hoot. Run it back. Thank you for the bits, Judgeinator. I appreciate that. Happy to get that back in the queue. And yeah, if you're a Grishelbrand fan and you didn't catch our league yesterday, the Grishelbrand league we played yesterday was so fantastic. Hey, Gubadiah, thank you very much for the tier 1 sub. Welcome. Huh. That's interesting. I think it's just Thalia, right? I think it's just Thalia. I think we just like take Thalia. And then we can take Thalia's Lieutenant next turn, plus play a fetch land. And then I have Brutality to take Dismember before we play our threat out. Yeah, Kalitas in general, I think, is very good in Modern. I think it hedges a lot of matchups nicely while also being flexible in aggressive matchups like this one. Well, now we're going to hold on to this fetch land because remember, fetch land with Tireless Tracker makes you extra clues. So they have Ziggurat, Reflector Mage, Dismember. Which I think I'm okay getting this Reflector Mage. I think I just want to take the Lieutenant out of their hand because that's the largest threat. Freebooter's kind of a beating. That means I'm not going to be able to take their Dismember away. But I guess since they have Reflector Mage anyways, taking the Dismember is like less valuable. It's a decent draw. I might... Do I want Do I want to kill this Kitesail Freebooter? I'm not actually sure that I do. I guess it's going to add up to a couple of points of damage over the course of the game, which is a little annoying. I don't think I want to Field of Ruin the Canopy. Like, they need another land to cycle it anyways. I think I want to kill this. I think I'm going to kill this. They only had one draw step to draw something I might feel a little bit better about killing. Good snipe there, Immortal, by the way. That was a quick draw. Good morning. Good morning to everyone. Hope everyone's having a great weekend. Having a great Friday. We're gonna be hanging out playing Magic all day today. We're doing a 12-hour stint. I see we're playing Legacy today. I'm pleased. Thanks for 200 bits. Yeah, we're gonna close out with Legacy this evening, I think. So I think the optimal sequencing on this fetch land to try and get our second clue is to, well, I guess I just want to pass, right? And then, like, if they Reflector Mage this, I get to make a clue in response. What time is it there? It is currently 10 in the morning. They left Vial on 2. That's interesting. I have a split right now, Jedi Jeff. I have 1 Dismember in the main and I have 1 Cast Down in the board. I think I like splitting them. The flexibility of Dismember costing 1 has been really valuable in a number of situations, but I do agree that Cast Down is a good card. I just feel like having 5 1-mana removal spells is really good. To explain your reasoning for taking Thalia over Vial with the Inquisition. So what you have to remember with a deck like Humans is that Aether Vial, while it does allow them to do some tricks, is effectively a resource. It's a land, basically. So taking their land with my discard spell when they have 3 other lands in their hand isn't valuable to me. I would much rather my opponent just have more lands in play, so that way they have the ability to flood out. SCG Indy at the end of July. Maybe. So that's actually the week before Gen Con. So I'm not sure that I want to go to an open and then, like, because, like, I'm gonna have to take 4 days off of streaming to go to Gen Con. So I'm not sure that I want to, like, take off that weekend and take off another one. Feels like a lot of time off all right in a row. Streaming doesn't come with PTO. You have to actually show up to get subs. So if they dismember me in response, I crack this fetch in response. So I still get 3 clues out of this. Minneapolis is too far for me to go for an open even. It's definitely too far to go for regionals. The Minneapolis is like 8.5 hours for me. It's very far. Gen Con's a lot of fun. If you're into tabletop gaming, Gen Con is quite the experience. Events basically sell out while you're waiting in line. So my wife got some of the stuff she wanted, but not all of it. So their hand now is Reflector Mage and then X. I think I like drawing a card here as opposed to playing the Collective Brutality because I don't really care about this Kitesail Freebooter. Dahlia's Lieutenant. Okay, now now I'm really glad I didn't Collective Brutality the Kite Sail Freebooter, right? Because I've just gotten blown out. How hard is it as a streamer to file taxes relative to other jobs that you have? So I actually, during undergrad and graduate school, I worked, well, not during grad school, during undergrad, I worked for a theater company that was all 1099 work. So that required me to pay my own taxes out of pocket the way it worked. So it's actually not any different than I was used to. If you're used to getting a W-4 or whatever the normal form is where the employer pays some of the taxes, it's definitely different having getting 1099, but getting 1099 is something I'm used to. Hey, Jaleel, thank you very much for the Twitch Prime support. I know there's a lot of excellent people streaming on Twitch right now, so I appreciate you choosing to support my content this month with that. Thank you and welcome. So this Scavenging Ooze should lock the game up pretty nicely. My opponent does have the Reflector Mage to send it back to our hand, but just the fact that the Scavenging Ooze is going to get to buffer our health total nicely should be enough for us to pull this game out. There's just like infinite creatures in bins, right? Like I've got a tracker and they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fatal Push is also excellent. Green Black Tasigur hype. Thank you, Captain Magar. Welcome. Good morning. Keep up the great content. Can this be put towards Dredge? Of course it can be put towards Dredge. Thank you for the bits, Marsh. So I definitely want to make sure I push this during their upkeep in response to the Aether Vial trigger, because we know my opponent has Restoration Angels in their deck, and we know they don't have one in hand right now. So you just want to like minimize your chance of getting blown out by a card like that. With mostly Storm, Burn, and Humans, what deck would you pick to have a good matchup against all three? I actually think this deck matches up well against all three of those decks. And especially if you can like spend most of your sideboard slots tuning for those, I think this deck lines up fairly well against those decks that you just listed. Morning, Demi Ice. Assume this is gonna be Reflector Mage, and this is fine. I just get to go ahead and crack my clue here. Like it doesn't matter if this is gonna take 2 turns. This deck doesn't have an amazing Tron matchup. I don't think it's unwinnable, but it's definitely not good. I'm just not going to get greedy. Just clean the board. I'm going to put the Scavenging Ooze down next turn anyways. I think if your deck can make black mana, but can't also make green mana, you should probably have cast down, or can't also make red mana for Terminate, you should probably have cast down in your 75. You need a way to kill things that Fatal Push can't kill in Modern. Look, I'm practicing for a real tournament. We're not trying to get fancy. We just want to take our 2-for-1s where we can get them, put our giant things into play, and beat them to death. It's curious that we're still playing Magic. I wonder if their last card's good, or if they just want to see more of my deck. It's like, we're attacking for 10 this turn. I guess they have another Reflector Mage. They might be okay for a little bit, but they're pretty... Did my article go live on this deck yet? GatheringMagic.com. Hey, look at that. My article's up. So if you want to read about this deck and why I think this deck is better than Jundin Abzan, you should read this. Give it a click even if you don't want to know. You know, clicks are nice. Not only is Twilight Mire bad with Field of Ruin, but it's bad with Damping Sphere. Damping Sphere will make your Twilight Mire a very sad panda. Morning, Digitech Wire. And yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with how I sideboarded. I don't really want to change anything on the play versus the draw, I don't think. I only go there so they keep paying. You have been spoiled by the preview channel. Posting about clickbait, classic move. I try to keep my clickbait articles to a minimum. A lot of the time, if I feel like I don't have something good to say, I just don't write an article. This, is this hand good against the creature aggro deck? What do we think, chat? What do we think? Nah, so here's the thing about Collective Brutality. When you draw too many of them, you can discard them to the other Collective Brutalities. All right, so do I want to kill? So I feel like in this deck, a lot of the time you want to make a decision on whether or not you care about the mana dorks. And I think with the Damnation in my hand, I just don't care about this Noble Hierarch. So I'm just going to go ahead and play this Quagmire and pass. He's Quagmire, Quagmire, giggity 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 goo. What? Well, no win condition. There's quite literally a Hissing Quagmire right here. There's quite literally a Hissing Quagmire right here. No win condition. No win condition. 7 reasons to play Black Green over Judd the Sixth will amaze you. That would have been a much better title. Much better title. Gotta get my clickbait levels up. Sure, but if they play Freebooter, I have 3 pieces of spot removal that they have to get through with this Freebooter. So like if they take they're almost certainly not taking the Damnation. They're looking at this hand and going, okay, how do I pace my threats to give them the least amount of value off the Damnation? Like I have 4 different pieces of removal and they all have different names. Like this is an ideal hand against how humans wants to attack fair decks like this. This is an ideal hand. Other rock players resent him for this one neat trick. See, I need to like pull chat for article titles apparently. Gotta get my clicks in the future. Again, I'm going to hold this Bloodstained Mire because we have 4 copies of Tireless Tracker in our deck, so it represents more value down the line. If I needed to fetch a dual land with it, potentially, I'd play it out aggressively, but the fact that my mana base is already set up nicely this game means I can afford to hold the Bloodstained Mire. And now, I think my opponent is likely just not going to play anything else out. They're going to force me to Damnation this board, and I'm pretty happy to just Damnation this board. Like, I'll take my 3 for 1, I'll have 3 removal spells left in my hand, it'll be great. That's a weird attack. What is this attack play around? They just like don't want me to kill their freebooter inside of combat? I guess that's fair. Yeah, this attack really sends me the message that they don't intend to commit anything else to this board. Except for maybe a Meddling Mage. Nah, I don't think I want to pulse the Hierarchs. I think I just want to like play my Damnation on 4 and like take my 3 for 1, have a bunch of removal spells left in my hand. Because the thing about Damnation is having Damnation in my hand makes any threats that I draw worse much later. So by playing the Damnation sooner and then controlling any follow-up threats they have with spot removal allows me to establish a clock of my own once I draw it. And I think I'd rather just take my 3 for 1 on the Damnation. It's also mana efficient. Like, we've been pretty mana inefficient here these first few turns, so I think just like minimizing this is ideal. This also gives me a chance to like Damnation their board before the Aether Vial is high, which means my opponent will be fairly, and like drawing the Tireless Tracker here just like makes playing the Damnation super correct. They need to have exactly Restoration Angel here in order to end step apply pressure to the board. And it doesn't look like they have Restoration Angel, so that's really good for us. Nah, it's not a 4 for 1. You can't think about it that way. Good morning, Zach. I spent 1 of my cards to get rid of 3 of their cards. Is the way you need to think about card advantage. Oh, they have a Champion of the Parish. Okay. That's pretty good. I guess that makes sense. They saw my removal spell pretty early. If they play a second threat here, I'm probably going to go removal spell this turn. That's not really a second threat. It's not a second threat either. Humans deck flooding out. Humans killed us game one both times today, but we definitely, like, post-board, especially once we get to know, like, how we should be mulliganing, I really feel like we have a good leg up in these matchups. Just gonna get both these in now. Be careful with Selfless Spirit. I'm not playing around Selfless Spirit on Aether Vial. I think that's a silly card to play around out of this deck. What's up with that choice? What do we have 4 ways to destroy artifacts in our 75. We have 2 Abrupt Decays and 2 Maelstrom Pulses. Tracker of their own's pretty good if they have some lands. Also, we have 3 Scavenging Oozes in our main deck and 2 Kalitas in our sideboard. Those are both graveyard hate. Do I want to trade Tireless Trackers here? That's great that you play Selfless Spirit in your sideboard. I'm saying statistically, it's not a commonly played card. So the thing you need, and maybe I should have mentioned that, but I don't know, my Jund deck was playing 25 lands as well. 8 of your lands in this deck are spell lands. 4 of your lands attack, 4 of your lands are Field of Runes. Past that, you want to play a lot of lands when you have Tireless Tracker. So like every extra land you play out turns into another card. Yeah, I'm not gonna trade here, I don't think. I'm trying to kill this with Maelstrom Pulse, then have Cast Down up. And this is a good example of where this Languish is actually better than a Damnation, right? Because this Tireless Tracker is going to get bigger than a bread box, or bigger than a Languish, whatever you want to call it, and not be able to die to my Languish. Pulse is symmetrical, but it's a phantasmal image, so it's going to die to the trigger and then get sacrificed. It's phantasmal image, chat. It's okay. It's okay. It's phantasmal image. I understand the interaction you're worried about. I know what my opponent's card does, though. No, I don't want to attack, because I think trading 3 points of damage is not worth taking 1 point of damage on the backswing. I just want to minimize my opponent's outs to win this game, and I think taking a hit for even 1 there is not worthwhile. So I don't have enough to double crack clues yet. I'm going to go ahead and play this. Inquisition's actually very good against a Reflector Mage, because Reflector Mage is the way they could steal this game here. So they'll have to Reflector Mage in response, and then I get to Languish the board if they have it. Sweet. What you got? So Fatal Push doesn't actually do anything for them, right? Right? Does Stone nothing? Because they don't have Revolt. So go. I'm gonna correct this to start. Get it to Tarmogoyf. Alright, so I'm gonna crack this fetch, get another clue. Crack 2 clues. We'll cast the Languish next turn. Ooh, look at that, chat. Another piece of candy. Candy. Also, can we talk about how awesome clues enabling Revolt for Fatal Push is? Can we just have a short discussion about how awesome that is? All right, so I'm gonna play this Liliana and plus her, because this way if they have Restoration Angel, I've cracked a clue this turn, which means I have Revolt. So now I just get to attack for free. Don't have to worry about it. They do get to Mantis Rider me this turn, so I don't have Cast Down up, but I think that's okay with the way my board's set up. We really want to find another Scavenging Ooze to lock this game up, but we're definitely in a very good spot here. Oh, they can't cast Rusto. Yeah, you're right. You're right. They only on 3 lands. They need like Mantis Rider this turn. Yeah. What are we still doing here, opponent? What are we still doing here? Ooh, I found a piece of candy, chat. Found a piece of candy. And that's the thing about Tireless Tracker. Once you have your best piece of candy in play, he finds you all of the candy. Alrighty. Okay, sweet. We're 3-1. We beat humans twice. Thanks everyone for hanging out this morning. Hope everyone's having a great Friday, great start to your weekend. If you're new, welcome. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. Glad I didn't scare you away. My name's Jeff Hoagland. I'm a full-time streamer and content producer here on Twitch. I stream Magic 30 plus hours a week, and we're streaming Magic for 12 hours today. If you're enjoying my content, please consider subscribing to my channel. My subscribers are the reason I'm able to be here full-time like I do, so big shout out to all of them. You can also support my stuff by supporting my sponsors. InkedGaming.com would love to help you customize your gaming experience using code Jeff12. You can save 12% on custom playmats, mouse pads, binders, and bags there. Cardsphere.com would love to help you turn your Magic cards into other cards or cash directly with other players. There's no haggling. They just take a 1% fee off the top. And of course, this stream is made possible by viewers like Anironix, Justin, Nivik, and you. At the very least, if you are new and you're enjoying the stream, make sure you hit that follow button. Following the stream doesn't cost you anything, and it lets you know when I go live and with what. I always try and post some of the decks that we're playing on a given day and the stream title. If you can't catch a deck we play live, be sure to check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Jeff Hoagland, where 100% of my streams get archived there. This means Tron is up next, right? Right? This Hogland's 3-1. He might cash Modern League. Somebody Tron him. Tron's the hard matchup for this deck. You're asking what's the hard matchup? It's Tron. We've got some Fulminator Mages, we've got some Damping Spheres, we've got some Field of Runes, we've got some Thoughtseizes. We have a chance, but it's definitely not good. Will we ever get... we need a candy emote. I agree, we need a candy emote. How do you even have teeth? Gotta brush regularly. My opponent's name is Seize Everything, so they're 10 out of 10 playing a deck with this card spells. I'm gonna keep this on the draw. Please be eggs, please be eggs, please be eggs. Please be eggs, please be eggs, please be eggs. We hit the Tron button, chat. Ain't that the truth? Why do we even try, chat? Why do we even try? Sometimes fucking just no ways to find Tron pieces, kept an awful hand, take the Ancient Stirrings, draw Ancient Stirrings, draw another way to find Tron pieces. Just story of your life playing against Tron. Just never not mono Tron pieces off the top. Never not mono Tron perfects. And these are the moments where I go, do I really want to travel and spend an entire weekend playing Modern? That's the question. Modern's fun to play on stream from home, but do I really want to spend an entire weekend to do it? I think this is how I want to sideboard. Golgari Charm protects my threats from an Oblivion Stone. Discard spells are good. The land destruction is good, obviously. These go here, so our curve is okay. Maybe this cast down is fine. Maybe this cast down is fine. I don't know. Last hope to rebuy Fulminator. Maybe that seems a little narrow. Scavenging Ooze isn't particularly good though, so this is probably fine. Let's give it a try. They're playing good Tron. If they were playing bad Tron, it would be much better for us. It'd be much better for us. Discard spell into Tarmogoyf into Liliana. Let's go. I think anyone that thinks them banning a card in Brawl means the format is unhealthy is just silly. Magic players have this weird idea where every card that's ever been printed in the sets that are legal in a format should be legal at all times, and that's just such a stupid idea in my mind. Like, the idea that every card they designed is simultaneously supposed to be an appropriate power level in every possible format in Magic is super unrealistic. You should be aware of the fact that power level is format contextual, and cards that are fine in Standard could be too good in Brawl, or they could be too good in Modern, or cards that are fine in Standard could be too good in Modern, or vice versa. Like, I think it's perfectly reasonable to manage your formats with a ban list. That's why ban lists exist. Because not every card is going to be a perfectly balanced power level for every single format. The fact that they banned things in Brawl, no, not surprised. They probably designed this set before they thought of Brawl as a format. All right, what are we doing? Play your Tron piece, cast your Sylvan Scrying. Let's go. Come on. Some of us got things to do, places to go, leagues to 3-2. Some of us got leagues to 3 and 2 here. To be fair, Brawl is best of 1 online because of Magic Online limitations. And the 3-2 police, right? Weird that they chose to play Stirrings here instead of guaranteed getting the Tron piece. Did they draw the Tron piece naturally? I wonder if they drew it naturally. At any rate, we're going to Fulminator Mage them and smack them with a 5-6 next turn. So, okay, pick up 2. More threats. Threats. This adds a creature and a land. Smack you. I like Future Sight Tarmogoyf's the best. Those are 10 out of 10 my preferred. We really want to draw an untapped land here so we can jam this Tasigur and have them dead very quickly. Well, I guess delving with Tasigur makes the Goyf slightly smaller. So I definitely want to play the Liliana out, and I think I'm just going to discard this land that's in my hand rather than not activate her, because like her threatening to ultimate is valuable in this matchup. It basically pressures their mana base. I didn't want to wait because my opponent could have had natural Tron in hand. And if they had natural Tron in hand, they were going to World Breaker us. And I think we were in a position to play around them having natural Tron. Like I already had pressure in play, so it was worth playing around. Swag Dadderson, maybe they don't have it, chat. Maybe they don't have it. Go. No, I'd much rather have a 4-power thing in play. Much rather have a second threat here. Second threat lets us play through something like a Thrag Tusk much better. Tron into Ugin would have been the beating. Tron into Ugin would have been the beating. All right, on the draw. Oh, great Damping Sphere gods, giveth to me the Damping Sphere. I cut my third Damping Sphere from the board. I think I should probably have 3 in this deck. I should probably have 3 Damping Spheres in this deck. Yeah, we're going to close with Legacy tonight, Punishing Waterfalls. We're going to play a red-white painter list that JMP sent in. Why was exiling Fulminator Mage wrong? They had creatures in their bin. Oh, I have Last Hope in my deck. Yeah, sure. You're right. You're right, because I have Last Hope. Thank you. Try and be specific in the future. What sideboard card would you cut for a 3rd sphere? If I knew the answer to that question, I would have played 3 spheres in this league. If I knew the answer to that question, I'd already have it in my deck. This hand's decent. Needs a threat, but it's got some disruption. Liliana's like a pseudo threat because she does like demand answers from them. All right, I think the fact that they did this, I'm gonna probably play this and then not play this on 3 or on 2 and set up to play Liliana on 3 here. Relic's annoying, but not the end of the world. Okay, there's a threat. What you got over there, Mr. Tron player? What big scary things are in your hand? So, I think the way our hand is actually going to line up against them, I'd like to take the Relic of Progenitus here, just because the Relic's a card that cycles for them. It'll also make any Tarmogoyf we draw much worse. Because, like, I'm going to have Damping Sphere to make the Tron pieces they're going to find worse, right? So I just want to, like, limit their ability to draw cards to answer Damping Sphere is basically what it comes down to. What's going on, Lima? Huh. I'm just supposed to play that, right? It means my Liliana starts ticking up slower, but it means I have a clock in play. So start attacking them. And then next turn we go Damping Sphere, tap land. Yeah, I think so. So scrying here almost certainly. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, chat. Do we actually know? Oh no, I closed out the wrong one. Never mind. I'm all there. All right. In Wet Ball we trust, right? And that's actually a good draw, right? Because it means we get to play Tireless Tracker, crack Verdant Catacombs next turn. Just put some pressure into play. Looking to dodge Oblivion Stone. Which, they actually can't cast Oblivion Stone this turn, which is nice. Sure. It's Damping Sphere. There's no EN in there, JMac. Yep. So they have a bunch of lands. They could. So, am I supposed to play the tracker here? Or am I supposed to play Liliana and start pressuring their hand? Pressuring their hand is valuable because they're going to get to play Wormcoil in 2 turns anyways. Yeah, I think I just play the Liliana and start pressuring their hand here. Makes the Goyf bigger too, yep. Yeah, because this is going to push Goyf to at least 4 power here, which means we have them dead in 2 after that. I guess they're going to get to guaranteed play the Wormcoil out though, right? Yeah, Liliana ult is also very valuable, I agree. They could hit Oblivion Stone here. They haven't found one of those yet. And they can cast it this turn and activate it next turn. Ghost Quarter, sure. Hey, morning, Eneronics. I think playing the tracker is better than cracking for 3 with the Treetop Village here. What do we think? I think that's the case because I want extra draws towards a Maelstrom Pulse next turn, right? So I can deal with this Wormcoil efficiently. So they have Wormcoil, Urza's Mine, and 1 card we don't know. This is going to be Wormcoil. We have 2 copies of Maelstrom Pulse in our deck. It's a little late. I start with We definitely start by cracking a clue, right? Because I could hit Maelstrom Pulse, and that's lethal. Beats Candy, chat. Can't beat Tron, they said, chat. How do you beat Tron, Hogland? Got him. All right. We probably want a third wet ball in the board. We probably need more wet balls in the board. There's probably, what card am I cutting for a wet ball? I have no idea. But one of these cards is gonna turn into a wet ball. I don't know which one, but one of them is gonna turn into a wet ball. I don't like the sideboard Thoughtseize. I really like the sideboard Thoughtseize against control decks, which I think are harder matchups. Maybe the sideboard Thoughtseize is supposed to be another threat though. I think the Kalitas is good. I'm kind of leaning towards EE. I'm kind of leaning towards this being the cut. I do know that I'm super happy with this main deck. I'm pretty sure this is the main deck I'm gonna play next weekend. Why do you have 2 Golgari Charms? So everybody has decks they hate losing to in Modern, right? The deck I really hate losing to in Modern is fucking Bogles. So I want 4 ways in my 75 to kill Leyline of Sanctity, and I have 2 Maelstrom Pulses in my main, and I have 2 Golgari Charms in my board. Those let me kill Leyline of Sanctity. Golgari Charm in general is also a very flexible card. It cleans up young Pyromancers. It can counter removal spells on your creatures. So it does a lot for a little. It can also just kill Bogles while they're in play if they don't have Leyline out. So I don't think Engineered Explosives guarantees you wins against Bogles the way Golgari Charm does. I think Golgari Charm's much better in that way. I think so, like, this deck's Tron matchup isn't that bad. You have discard spells, you have Field of Rune, you have reasonable clocks. When, like, your main deck is already okay, I'm not trying to take a 10% matchup and making it a 50% matchup. I'm trying to take a 35-40% matchup and push it to 50-60%. That's what I'm trying to do. I think with the addition of this card, like, once upon a time, I would agree with you that, like, having cards for Tron was bad, but, like, Damping Sphere is good because it isn't only a card for Tron. This is a permanent base take card against Storm, against Eggs, against Ad Nauseum, against Grishelbrand. This card's super flexible. People are saying things like Fracturing Gust and Nature's, whatever. Those cards are very narrow. You don't want to play super narrow cards in Modern. There are narrow cards to beat every linear deck. My goal is to play mostly flexible cards. Can we move to a good deck now? Sure, Justin, don't worry. I've got some